How's it going, everyone? It's Blake here from ChessPathways.com, playing another Blitz game today, 3 minutes with a 2-second increment. Looks like we've got this rare little line, this early e5 and the Caro-Kann without playing d4. I'm actually going to play a fun little line today. Let's play this line where you play d4. And there's basically no theory here as far as I know. You just get this very kind of original position. I think even queen d5 has been tried here, just going after this e-pawn right away. White could play f4 there. But let's go ahead and play this. Let's just get something totally original and kind of be on our own from the very beginning. So I'm expecting f4. Okay, now I'm going to play c5. So black has a big space advantage on the queen side. White has a space advantage on the king side. Okay, knight g3. So I might have to trade this bishop off and give up the bishop pair if I don't want it locked in. But I think I'm okay doing that. Let's play bishop g4. And if you play h3 or something, I'm fine giving up the bishop pair in this particular position. Especially if you can double your f-pawns. Yeah, so bishop e2, I think e6. There's no tactics here, I don't think, with, well, maybe there is. Do we have to worry about knight d4 kind of ideas? And then if we take the bishop, they just recapture like that. We do have to worry about that a little bit. So I'm wondering how to best deal with that. Even h5 is a consideration. Wow. h5, no, probably not. That's probably a bit too much. You could just play h3 or something, and we don't really have a great position there. Maybe this was a bit too creative for black out of the opening. I'm not sure if this is really so great for us, because we don't want this bishop coming to f3. Is your threat serious, though, or could we just take on g2 or something? I guess we're not really threatening the rook, though, either, are we? Nonetheless, we have to play faster. So let's play e6. If you take here, we can take back. We'll get g2 in the end. Okay, so here, let's play knight h6. Thinking about coming to the f5 square in some cases and defending the bishop for the time being. And I'm still happy with grabbing g2 at the end of that line. I think if you go for something like knight takes d4. Okay, that's fine. Quite a bit low on time, or down on time, I should say. Bishop e7 for now, I think, is fine. Okay. Here I might just play bishop f5. I don't have to exchange now, and if you take, you bring my knight to f5. You could play g4, but you have some weaknesses here. Okay, queen e1. They're trying to swing around. Let's go after c2 though. It's kind of awkward for white to defend without playing bishop d1 or something. I've seen this idea in lots of different openings when white tries to play the queen e1, queen swing out idea to go after the c2 pawn. Okay, bishop back, that's fine. And which way to castle here? It's kind of a hard choice. Let's actually play h5. Let's play h5 and just stop g4, or at least make sure we can open up the file if you do play g4. Okay, bishop d2. I don't think you're threatening to take, because then e3 is super weak, so I don't think we care about that. Let's play h4. Bind white a little bit more on the king side there. Okay, you can kick us away. And I have all kinds of ideas here. I could play for like b5, c4, and just rolling the pawns. On this, I was thinking maybe castle long. And I don't think you have any immediate threats. So let's castle long. If you try to pawn storm us or something, we can always exchange queens at will. I could also just hop into g3 if I want to. If I were to take knight g3, you could play rook e1 and defend everything. Okay, rook e1 makes sense. And now which side of the board to play on here? It's kind of hard to choose. So much going on. Could even play b5 or something. Or maybe just knight g3 right away and try to force you to exchange queens and lift our rook for us. Looks fine to me. b5 is still an idea. I'm a little less inclined to do it now with the king on the queen side. White could strike with a4 maybe? That's always a concern. Okay, b4. So they're sacrificing a pawn to try to open the file here, but I'm not sure if this works for them. Let's take first just to try to create this target here, and then play b5. That was my thought, just to, well, I don't know. It's kind of double-edged, isn't it? But I kind of like this idea. It's kind of creative. Just no rush. Just make sure this pawn is a weakness here long term. You can't really play c3 too easily. Or maybe you can. I guess we'll have to find out. I thought you couldn't really go for this because this pawn is so weak, but I guess you just want to get to our king. We can take b4, we can take d3. But I guess it's not so easy, is it? if you play bishop e2, the bishop is hanging. This does come with tempo. But I think you're going to play rook c1, and then you're going to play bishop e2. Maybe this wasn't best for us, is it? But I think I have an idea. I can play king b7 here, and now if you play bishop e2, I'm going to sack the exchange and play bishop takes b4, winning the exchange back, and winning a pawn in the process. My biggest concern here is the clock, pretty low on time. If you do nothing here, I think I'm still threatening just to take on c3 and play bishop takes b4. There is some lines to calculate here. Yeah, I think we can go for this. I know you have an in-between move with taking the knight, but I think this works out. You take our knight. How do we handle that? I guess materials equal here. We would win the exchange with this. And your rook has no threats. That's kind of the key point. There's no in-between move here you can make. Or maybe there is. I guess that is a threat, isn't it? No, knight f1 check. Yeah, you're going to win some stuff in return. At least we get connected past pawns. I'm going to try to march the connected past pawns, but first I want to activate the rook. Rook d8. And you have to watch out for some threats against your king, too. Your king is a bit vulnerable here as far as I can see. I'm going to play this. And if you try to be greedy, I'm wondering if I can play this and mate you. Because your king has no squares. Oops, that didn't work. Check. And check. This could still work. I want to take away all the squares around your king. It's just hard to see exactly how. Let's play here. Here. And I'm threatening some pretty nasty stuff against your king. You're probably going to play like bishop b3 to come after the rook. Yeah, even after losing this pawn, I think our attack is still fairly dangerous here, and your rook's kind of out of play, which is nice for us. You can defend with the knight coming back to g1 in some cases. So let's play here. You're going to tempo us again, but now we get the last tempo. And you can't defend your bishop, I don't think. If we move the knight with check, you play knight g1, we play bishop back. Okay. I think we just have to take. I'm so low on time. I'll try coming back to the back ring. That probably wasn't best, but I just saw we could win a piece, and you can't really take here. You might sack the exchange, though, and just march the pawns. I'm kind of worried about that. Yeah, there's these ideas. But isn't this good for us? Our knight can guard the pawns. We can march our passed pawns. You do have a lot of them. That is a lot of pawns. I think we need the king's help. Oh, man, I'm worried you can even... Well, no, you can't play g6 because we have the knight coming back around. Yeah. I think we're guarding everything. I think we are. I'm just worried. I want to gain some time by playing fast if I can. I'm just a bit nervous, but I feel like this is winning for us. This pawn's only 3 moves away. I guess your pawn's not far away either. Check. Queen, and surely we have to be able to mate you. I just feel like there has to be a mate, but I'm kind of worried about finding it in time trouble. Oh, we have knight g6! We have knight g6 winning. Check. Is there no mate? There's got to be a mate. King f6, rook f4, king g7. We take here. Check. Check. Here. And wins. There we go. And I have plenty of time now. Takes, no stalemate tricks. Nope. Sack for the pawn. And a win. Wow, okay, crazy game. So if we go and look at it, let's click on the analysis board and go take a look. Self-analysis. So yeah, this line is pretty rare. This it almost looks like they're going for the 2 knights variation with knight f3, but instead they just play e5 right away. And there's a couple ways you can play against this. I kind of like this idea just to play d4 and to get a totally original position. I feel like I might have gotten a bit too creative here. So f4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, knight g3, bishop g4, bishop e2, e6. Yeah, and I was worried about some of these tactics with knight takes d4, if you remember. Because now if we take, you can take with the knight and stay up a pawn. But I think this fails, like I mentioned, because g2 is hanging. For example, here we could take with the knight, you take our bishop, and now queen takes g2, and we get our pawn back. Your king's really exposed, so I was happy to play a position like this. So you never really went for that. We got to develop our knight to h6. You do get the pair of bishops, but I think all in all, I actually kind of like this position for black. If we don't have to give away the bishop on f3 and just get kind of kicked around and chased away, I think this makes sense for black. And I know there's some other lines where you can play these ideas with h5, h4 in the Caro-Kann. I can show you, I'll just show you right now. There's lines in the advanced variation, for example, where white plays an early f4. For example, here, let's say f4, e6, knight f3. Black can even play h5 right away. The point being, the knight can come to h6. The bishop's kind of locked off from controlling that square. You can play bishop g4, knight f5 in some cases, or bishop g6, knight f5. You stop white's expansion. You strike with c5. So I knew the idea from some other lines in the Caro-Kann like that. So after queen e1, I gain this tempo. You can't really take because e3 is so weak. I bind down your whole king side. I think this is kind of nice for black, actually. That said, I think white's probably doing fine too. And, okay, a bunch of stuff happened here. I wonder if this b5 idea is actually sound. It's probably, like I said, maybe a bit too creative, but I kind of like the idea. I wonder if the computer would recommend it. No, probably not. Yeah, a6 is probably a more sound way to go for the same idea. Just stop this pawn from advancing. I don't know why b5 stuck out in my head. a6 does seem more prudent. And then white had this idea to turn the tables here with pawn to c4. Not sure if it's best. Looks like knight g5 was an opportunity I kind of missed. Kind of a cool idea there. Kind of similar to my knight b4 idea earlier in the game, just pointing out the pawn's hard to defend. Is this really so good for us, though? I just want to see without a computer. I guess the point is we can't defend f7 too easily. And is it really so bad for us just to take the knight? What's actually going on here? I wouldn't have thought this would be so bad for us, but maybe it really is bad that we expose the king in a position like this. We can't really grab on e5 too easily because a7 could hang. And I guess white still has those sacrifice ideas with c4. So that was probably just a big misjudgment, this whole b5 idea. But nonetheless, c4, they sacked the pawn. We were able to get in this exchange sacrifice, at least a temporary exchange sacrifice, to kind of blow the situation open there on the queen side and get connected past pawns. They were able to pick up our f-pawn in return. And I think here, even though I missed they could just pick up our h-pawn, the threats to the king are still pretty serious. White probably had some ways to get out of it. But the threat here is just checkmate. You can grab the pawn, but simply check. The bishop comes around into the attack. And white might have a way to defend. This would actually be a great training position if any of you wanted to set this up on a chessboard, give yourselves, 10 minutes to calculate everything like this was a real tournament game, not just a blitz game. And, come up with an assessment. Who's better? By how much? How should white play? How should black play? What line represents best play for both players? That would be a really good exercise here. But in a blitz game, I think I'd rather be black, regardless of the objective truth here. It's just very scary here for the white king. The rook is kind of out of play for the time being, which is pretty dangerous in an endgame like this. I do have connected passed pawns to fall back on, although your pawns are probably better than mine. But in the end, I was able to make it work out. White had to make some sacrifices to stop my attack, and then they tried to roll their pawns, but I got to roll my pawns too. We both made a queen, but I was faster enough to checkmate white. Or not checkmate them, but force the winning endgame before they were able to do anything with their extra queen. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. And if you haven't already, please make sure you click that link down in the description to sign up for free on chesspathways.com. Again, it's totally free, only takes 5 seconds to join. I will send you a free move-by-move guide to chess thinking when you sign up, and you'll also get other exclusive content as well. And as well, please click the subscribe button down below. Thanks, and I will talk to you soon.